Pharaonic is a ridiculously tough action side-scrolling RPG set in Egypt where you play as your own created character. This game feels like Dark Souls and can be just as brutally punishing. You start with a sword, and as you play through the tutorial map you'll get a shield. In combat you have a heavy and light attack, and with the shield you can block and parry attacks. You can also dodge attacks and you have 3 water jugs to refill your health, which doesn't sound too challenging. But the addition of gear stats and a stamina bar make this game feel like Dark Souls. Your character feels incredibly slow to challenge you, to force you to pay careful attention to your stamina bar and enemy attacks. There are traps for you to dodge, loot chests for new weapons and gear, shops to sell unwanted items and buy new gear, and praise shrines to refill your health and water. Praise shrines act as your checkpoint, and if you die in combat, which you will a lot, you'll be sent back to the shrines to try and make it deeper into the levels. Dying will also make you drop some of your XP, and like Souls in a Dark Souls game, you have to go recollect in the spot you died at, and if you die on your way, you lose your XP for good. And this is where the ultimate frustration comes into play, balancing grind and confidence. Though once you get a hang of things, combat feels decently manageable, especially when later on you find your first backpack and can use magic to give you some help in fights. There are a variety of fighting situations in this game, like 1-on-1, 2-on-1, large enemies to deal with, groups of multiple enemies to deal with, some with cheap feeling ranged swords, and of course brutal bosses. And this is where managing your gear comes into play. Do you want to be protected and do tons of damage for this battle at the cost of losing stamina quickly, or will you need to do more dodging, sacrificing defense for speed, or attack power for stamina? It's a tricky balancing act that makes every boss encounter feel overcomable if you try just one more time, and this is where the game hooks you, and it's a great hook. My issues with this game are few, but they're large issues. Firstly, there's an annoying enemy lock-on that your character will do. They won't automatically lock into the boss or even the closest enemy. It feels pretty random. And because of this, I'd waste precious magic that doesn't regenerate on an enemy behind a barrier that popped up instead of using it on the bosses. This was way more frequent than it should be, and the game doesn't seem to scale weapon drops with location. After defeating a boss, I went to a new world where ordinary enemies felt like bosses because the weapon I just defeated the previous boss with no problem was hardly doing any damage to these new enemies. It just didn't make sense. Almost like the game wants to force grinding on you, which is made a little easier thanks to the fast travel points and barrier fights not having to be repeated, letting you roll past enemies you don't want to deal with. But forced grinding is never a good thing. The difficulty spike came out of nowhere and was far too steep. But again, as a side-scrolling Dark Souls-like game, you know what to expect. Prepare to die, prepare to grind. Prepare to lose progress when you slip up on a trap on your way to collecting your dropped experience. I give Pharaonic a 6.5 out of 10.